Hello student, I'm Anthony Law. I'm from Business School. I'm the BBAJD Program Co-Director. Today, I'm going to give you a talk about why you think about the BBAJD program at Chinese U of Hong Kong. Now, first of all, let me tell you about the Chinese U of Hong Kong. Certainly, you know it's in Sha Tin. It's a very green environment. When you enter Chinese University of Hong Kong, you'll find there's so many trees. You feel so happy when you study here, right? When you go to the library, you find the study environment very, very quiet. And then you can concentrate your mind in studying. Besides, you can also learn from the college system because there's so many activities you're going to join, and they also offer students some courses in general education. I'm sure that this will help students' whole personal development. Now, why consider the BBAJD program at Chinese U? Now, think about one example. In the year 2008, there was a global financial crisis, and many people lost their investment. So that's the question. Is the compliance done well enough to make sure the customers' interests are protected? So for example, when people work at banks or financial institutions, they have to make sure compliance is done to meet the legal requirement whenever they give advice to the customers or they sell investment products to customers, all right? So think about it. In case a person would like to be a good business leader, certainly to acquire law knowledge will help him or her a lot. On the other hand, a lawyer may find business knowledge essential. So in case he gives advice to clients about investment products, the legal implication, he or she has to understand the background of those products, the business side. In that case, he will find the work easier to handle. Now, I'll now tell you about the program feature, the feature of the BBAJD program, all right? So joining offered by the BBAJD program is offered by the law school and the business school at the same time. And it's first of a kind 5-year program offered in Hong Kong. And you can see from the, and you can know from the website that actually students can finish 2 degrees in 5 years, all right? So in the first 4 years, they study mostly the BBA courses, and then they can get a BBA degree. And at the end of the 5th year, students can get a JD degree after they successfully complete the law part of a study, all right? So what students can think about for career option in future, now that will depend on would they like to work in the business field or would they like to work in the law field. In case they want to be lawyers in Hong Kong, after completing the program, they still have to study a program called the Postgraduate Certificate in Law offered by the law school. Right? In case they want to do other work in the other field, certainly what they learn in the program can help them a lot to work for banks, financial institutions, or any other sector. Now, so how do we design the program? Now, starting from day one in university study, students would study both law and business. But in the first 3 years, students study mostly BBA courses, with several law courses offered at the undergraduate level. In year 4, students will finish most of the BBA courses by then. And students will then concentrate on the law courses, and these law courses are offered for postgraduate students. Now that also means in the first 3 years, students would know undergraduate classmates of their age. When they study the JD part of the program, they'll know new friends. They are already graduates, and then they'll know new friends. That will be very good for them, all right? Now, let me tell you more about the program structure, all right? As you can see, we divide the program into 2 parts, all right? But even in the first part, about the BBA part, students will already study some law courses, and they are fundamental law courses. At the same time, apart from studying BBA courses and law courses, students have to complete some university core courses. So what they are, for example, they concern IT, all right? This is very important. In case I don't know about computer, I can't teach at all, right? And also, students have to do some courses like the Chinese language, etc., etc. I'm sure the courses will help them a lot. And then in year 5, students will study purely the JD courses, which are offered at postgraduate level, not the fundamental law courses offered at the undergraduate level. And about the curriculum, all right? So apart from attending classes, learning from textbook, students can also enjoy other things like they can do internship, they can also choose to study overseas for exchange. Now, for the exchange program, actually, many students in Chinese U, they do have chance to study overseas for exchange, all right? Apart from exchange programs offered by the faculties of law and the faculty of business, there are also some other exchange programs offered by the university. May not concern law or business, but certainly would benefit students in whole personal development, all right? There are also some other shorter study trip that may take 1 or 2 weeks, would depend on how they organize it, but surely that will be a good learning experience, all right? Now, we also offer mentorship programs. Now, the mentors are not only your teachers. Now, of course, some of them are your teachers, but they're mentors from the business field, all right, okay? And from the law field. I understand that will be offered by the law school, all right? So teachers would help the students. At the same time, the school will also organize the practitioners to come back to the campus to give talk to students, to give them some seminars, to help them to know about how they apply the knowledge they learn in class to real life experience, all right? And there are also career workshops in which we tell the students how to improve themselves to meet the future challenges when they graduate. And also the professional bodies, like the body called the Hong Kong ICPA, meaning the Professional Accountancy Body in Hong Kong, they organize business case competitions. Now, the competitions are not only for students of accountancy program. They are also open to other students to join, all right? So students can think about joining this program because they'll be given the task to do some presentations. And to do the presentation, they have to do some research, and also they have to organize how they argue the points, which will be highly beneficial for students, all right? And law school also organize mooting activities for students. So what is mooting? So basically, what will happen would be there is a room which looks like a courtroom, and students have a chance to present arguments in that moot court so that they can learn and have a good experience of how it's like in the court when they do advocacy in future. That will benefit students a lot. Now, apart from what I've just told you earlier, there are other learning facilities, like, for example, the laboratories, which you can see later on in the CYT building. And when you enter those laboratories, you'll find, oh, this is a real environment, looking really like something like the stock exchange or like some other places. And then when you study there, you'll feel, it seems right, I'm working already. In that case, can help students a lot, all right? And certainly, students can go to the library to look at the books. At the same time, they can learn from the library database. So sometimes they may not need to go to the library. Some of the facilities can be found online, and they can enter the database and read the documents, all right? And something very important is what we call the blackboard. So what we do is we upload our lecture notes, videos, as the case may be, online to this platform. At the same time, when teachers conduct a course online, then students have to enroll in the blackboard so that they can attend the classes online, all right? Apart from learning from classroom, students can also learn online, not only from library database, but could be from other sources. And there's some discussion rooms in Chinese U, which is available for students to book, and then they can discuss the classwork or the assessment with their friends there. Certainly, there's some good environment for studying and discussion. Now, students, let me give you a talk about some case studies. And this is going to be something that you'll learn in future in the program. Now, these are case studies which combine law and business together. Let's see. Now, let's say a case about product liability. So what does it mean? All right. So as you know, all right, people do buy things maybe online or maybe in shops, all right? So what is the what's duty for the shop owners, right? So certainly there are a lot of legal requirements for them. And one example is under a law called the Sale of Goods Ordinance, all right? There's a requirement that anything sold by the sellers must be of good quality, although the word used in the law is merchantable quality, but that means more or less the same thing, all right? Now to say the goods must be of good quality, to say that is easy, but how do you measure when the goods are good in quality or bad in quality? What's the measure we use in law, all right? Now, to make it easier, the law has told us something about the standard of requirement. For example, the law says like this. Now, the duty to make sure the goods are good in quality in doing business would not apply whenever the seller has shown the problems in the goods to the buyer. Then there is an issue. What does it mean by the seller shows somebody the problems in the goods? Is that okay if the seller tells the buyer, well, you check the goods all by yourself, all right? There's some problem, take a look by yourself. Would that be okay to fulfill the requirement by law? Now, for this point, students will then study from court cases, all right? So this is both about what the law is and how we put the law in practice to make sure that business people, when they do business, they have to fulfill the legal requirement. Otherwise, they're liable to compensate the customers for the financial loss, right? And then there's another issue also. Supposing I sell some goods to my customers, the goods are bad in quality, but the goods somehow are not produced by me. They are produced by overseas manufacturer. In that case, can I tell my customer, this is not my fault. I don't know the goods are bad in quality. Actually, I don't make them at all. I don't think I've done wrong to you. Can this person, the seller, say this argument to customers? Do we allow that in law? Now, this is an issue students would study in the court cases, and then they would know why the court would not allow the seller to make this argument to customers. Otherwise, it would be unfair to customers, all right? And then there are other legal rules like, in case the buyer can find out the problems in the goods from reasonable inspection of the goods, this duty to give them goods good in quality in doing business also would not apply, meaning the customers cannot get refund in case they find out, or they should be able to find out, the goods are bad in quality when they check the goods, but they're not careful enough in checking the goods, except in the court cases. But what do you mean by I check the goods carefully, still I cannot find the goods are good enough in quality? What do you mean? Again, students have to learn from a court case for details, all right? Now, certainly there are other legal requirements by what does it mean by good quality. For example, you can see some indicators written in the law, which I'm not going to tell you one by one because this is what students have learned in detail in the classes, but list them out all because the law has a very long list. So I cannot only put one example here. Now, one example is, in case the price is high, then sellers must make sure the goods are very good quality, of good quality. But even though the goods are sold at a low price, the court case suggests that it doesn't reduce the requirement of good quality. At least the goods must be safe. Otherwise, customers may suffer injury. In that case, of course, there could be an action against the seller and the manufacturer in the court case that you're going to learn in future. Now, let me give you another example. This is not about product liability, but still one more issue, both about the law and business. For example, supposing you are an owner of a business and you need money. So what can you do? Now, one common example is some business owners will go to bank for help. They'll borrow money. And then very likely, the bank will make mortgage arrangement with the business owners. What does it mean? What it means is, in case the business owners are not able to return the money to the bank later on, the bank can take away the thing secured to the bank for sale to make good their financial loss. Otherwise, the bank lend out the money. If the money is not returned to the bank will suffer a loss. That's why a mortgage is made, all right? Now, then think from the perspective of the business owner. In case the owner arranged for mortgage of the access of company to the bank, then the bank may make arrangement with customers. Can you use the assets in your trade or not? All right? Now, in case the arrangement is, unless the bank agree, the business owner can no longer use the thing secured to the bank already. Now, that will affect the business in that case, all right? Now, one other option is, certainly, the business owner can think about, how about I sell shares? But the point is, can he or she sell shares under the law? Is that allowed by law? Now, not all business entities can sell shares to others. And even if they can sell shares to others, there's some restrictions by the law, all right? And how about listing? People always talk about listing, for example, right? Now, actually, to fulfill the requirement of listing the stock of company in the stock exchange, there are listing rules to be fulfilled. And what these rules are, there's so many. It's not only about the company has enough money for listing. There are other requirements, right? Now, there's some companies, they're qualified for listing, but they don't apply for listing. They don't apply for that. Why? Now, so maybe not purely legal reason. There could be some commercial reasons behind. So there are reasons for doing decisions about should I list my stock exchange or not, supposing I'm qualified to do so. So these are some commercial considerations. So not really only about the law, but also about business. Now, that's why studying law and business together can help students to learn overall. Now, apart from the local issues, there's something that students can learn from the program. It's more global. For example, let's say we talk about the political development in Hong Kong, all right? So what is democracy about, all right? This is something that students can learn in a constitutional law course in a program, all right? So students can learn from textbook, for example, in UK, what is the voting electoral system like? What is it? How does it look like, right? So this is something students can think over and can learn from textbook, for example, all right? And then what is the Belt and Road policy launched by Chinese government? What is it really about, all right? It's about trade, right? And then when you talk about trade, we can talk about WTO. What is it about, WTO, all right? Now, how to join WTO? And in case a country join the WTO treaty, what are the treaty obligations? These are all issues very important, all right? And what we can also think over would be, for example, foreign investment in China. So what businesses can be done in China from the foreign businessmen, for example? Now, at present, some businesses cannot be done by foreign businessmen in mainland China. And what are those businesses? So it's something that students can learn from online to help themselves to learn more, so to enrich themselves in future, all right? Which I believe that would be crucial for students to have whole personal development, all right? Now, thank you very much for your time. That is the end of the presentation.